Hello friends, and welcome back to Josh's Life with Plushies. It is Friday, April 5th, 2024, and today I have a special friend I'd like you to meet. Might be familiar to some of you who follow me on Instagram, new to those who only follow me on YouTube. I have Eeyore here today with me, part of the Big Feet collection. Alright, and here we are standing so that you can get a better look at how big he is. He's a very large plushie. Such a cutie, isn't he? So you've got the big feet here and the hands. Look at that smile. Not often you see Eeyore smiling, right? And the floppy ears, the little mohawk. And of course, can't forget the tail. He has not lost his tail, he still has his tail. In fact, we have it sewn on, so no worries about losing that there. But there you have it. It is now time for us to stop for lunch. Having the typical kale bowl. I'll show you what that looks like right away here. Alright friends, here we are in front of the Indigenous Perspectives gallery sign. You can see it behind me here. And Eeyore and I thought we would take you around and show you a little bit of the content inside of this part of the gallery. So here we have our very first sign within the gallery. You'll see here a bronze cast footprint. A moccasin footprint, about 750 years old roughly. And so this footprint here is a cast of one that they found when they were unearthing the museum grounds to begin building the museum here on this location. And because of the location of where it was when they were doing their excavating and where it would be within the museum, it didn't make sense to create the glass floor to show the footprint itself. Because of where it's located in the museum, there just isn't any public footprint in that area of the museum. And so it just would be a waste, it wouldn't be seen. So instead, to preserve that, they wanted to keep it, show it. They took a casting of the footprint, and now they have it here in the museum. And as well, here you can see the sign here is for the Forks, which is a name for the park or meeting place here near the museum grounds. And a little bit of a description here says that it is an ancient meeting place. This museum stands at the Forks, a traditional meeting place of great significance for First Nations and Métis people. For more than 6,000 years, Indigenous groups traveling long distances to this site where the Red and Assiniboine rivers meet. They gathered here to trade, forge alliances, and hold ceremonies. Generations of Métis families also lived and worked along these rivers. When newcomers began claiming the land, it sparked a Métis uprising that erupted in 1869. Louis Riel led this resistance movement to defend Métis rights and culture. Riel's grave now lies near St. Boniface Cathedral on the far side of the Red River. And if I zoom in here, you can kind of sort of see it off in the distance. Right behind the suspension bridge there, you can kind of see some remnants of it. Right about there. That would be the cathedral. And so you can actually see his gravestone there if you visit the grounds on that side of the river. And here is one early image over a textured map that shows you the Red River and the Assiniboine River where they converge here at the forks. And an idea of what the settlements and the hunting grounds may have looked like around that time. So the image is roughly from 1817. Sorry. The image on the left is an Indigenous camp near the Red River in 1866. Aboriginal peoples have been a constant presence in this river region since ancient times. And then here over on this side is a photograph of Louis Riel, one of the main leaders of the Métis resistance here in the area. And a quote from Patricia A. Montour, Patricia D. McGuire. To know who you are, you must also know where you come from. This means understanding the relationship you have with the territory of your people. And here we are very close up. I'll try and step back a little bit, try and let you see this. But essentially behind what looks like a basket here is a 360-degree theater. Plays a film, about 7 minutes long, about what it means to be Indigenous and what it means to have a relationship with the land that we live on. I'll give you a little peek inside of here. Won't be able to show you much of this, avoid copyrights, but I will just give you a bit of an idea of what you can see if you were to come and visit here at the museum in the 360 Basket Theater.
I want to be safe.
Also part of this exhibit are these 3 large pieces of art here, each one representing a different thing of what it means to be Indigenous. And it makes for a bit of a complicated conversation in the sense that to be Indigenous is to be part of a specific nation within that larger group. For example, to be Métis is to be a mix of multiple different Indigenous nations with some form of European settlement, either French or English typically here in Manitoba. And so this right here, this exhibit here, talks about a Métis settlement and lists off some of the towns that were traditionally Métis settlements and shows you an example of some embroidery that was used to create a fire bag. It tells the story of how, as Métis people, this particular individual here, this lady who I'll show you in a minute, tells her story about what it means to be Métis, and to her to be Métis is to tell stories. Storytelling to her is a large part of what it means to be Indigenous, to be Métis. So you have Maria Campbell right here. And Maria Campbell is a storyteller, teacher, community worker, and filmmaker. She is celebrated for her efforts to preserve and share Michif, Métis culture and heritage. Campbell grew up in northwestern Saskatchewan, just outside Prince Albert National Park of Canada. Her community lived on a road allowance government land set aside for building roads. She later shared this experience through her own personal account and by translating the oral histories of elders. She is a mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. And here you have a bit of an image of what those road allowance towns kind of looked like here. And to preserve the artifact on the wall, we have a little sample right here as well, where you can kind of play around and touch that and feel the beads, see what it's like. So why not touch? Only touch the small sample provided and help preserve the large beaded banner for future visitors to enjoy. And for those of you who have been following along through some of the previous videos, you may be familiar with this piece here hanging up on the wall, stretching all the way up to level 4. That piece right there is called Trace by Rebecca Belmore. And we showed you that in a previous video. And that right there is a collection of clay beads, which are just lumps of clay formed into beads by children's handprints. And one of the things that the artist was looking to do with this piece is to bring what was familiar to her audience here. And so what does this kind of look like to you, or what does this give you an idea of? Or does this look like anything in particular to you? What would you get out of taking a look at this? And specifically, this artist here, Rebecca Belmore, has stated that the intent of this piece was for it to kind of look like a blanket hanging on the corner of a chair. And specifically, what she was looking to do is to take what was taken out of the museum for the museum to be here, that is the clay. She's looking to take what was removed and put it back in here into the museum, bringing the land back indoors. And so that was kind of one of the intents of the pieces here as well. All right, friends, we just finished walking through the exhibit for Indigenous Perspectives, covering some of the content in that gallery. It is almost done here for the day, almost time to head home and call it a day. Start the weekend off, so we'll be catching up with you on our walk home. All right, friends, we are walking home. The day is done. It is 12 degrees Celsius, feels like 9. Winds are 31 kilometers an hour, gusting to 43. You can probably see the hair blowing in the wind, possibly even Eeyore's hair blowing in the wind as well. It is sunny out, and I'm walking at a brisk pace. So we'll catch up with you once we're home. All right, friends, we got home from work, had our supper, frozen pizza. It was okay. And now we got to go out and get a few groceries, and then we'll be back home to relax for the rest of the night. So we will see you when we get back from the grocery store. All right, friends, it is that time. It has been a long day, and I am tired. And even though Eeyore is not showing it with this lovely smile of his, I'm tired. So even if he isn't, I'm going to bed. So we did all the grocery shopping, did everything that we needed, got all the things for next week. We've got some lunch prep to do over the next couple of days. And we've got a little bit of acid reflux. Apparently I should not be eating some of the chips that I ate. Oh well. A little bit of baking soda water is going to fix that, so I'll take care of that right away. 1 cup of water to a tablespoon of baking soda, and just kind of like, I can sip through it because I've done it a bunch. Doesn't bother me any, but I know a lot of people have a hard time with the taste, so you could always add other things to it, like a lemon juice or something like that, to try and assist with the flavoring, but I don't mind it. Anyways, enough chatting. We've had a wonderful day. We are going to have a great sleep, and we will see you in the morning. So until then, stay plushy, friends.